I'm going to quote Ben Davison here from a recent interview with Boxing Social, where he was talking about the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder rematch. He said, "Going into the fight, I felt that Wilder had not yet shown that Wilder could perform on that level under that pressure on that stage. Whereas Tyson had his fight before with Vladimir Klitschko, that was his biggest fight. It was his first test at that level. Tyson knows that he rises to the occasion, and that was a bonus going into the second fight. That was advantage Tyson." And I think that is sort of what Wilder was walking about with his suit. And I'm assuming that this article meant to say talking about with his suit. Anybody who has had a fight in the ring or outside the ring, the adrenaline you get in your legs, some people rise to it, some crumble, and some get stuck in with it. I'm not saying Wilder crumbled under the pressure, but I'm saying that's more what I think it was than the suit. I think he had adrenaline going through his body, and I don't think he coped with it well. I think that's probably why he felt like his legs weren't underneath him, not because of the outfit he wore to the ring. And it was a question I asked myself before the fight. We've not seen Wilder rise to the occasion yet, but we have with Tyson. It seemed to be that way. Wilder just didn't rise to it the way Tyson did. Okay, so those are the words of Deontay Wilder. And by the way, whoever transcribed these quotes here from the interview on Boxing Scene, you've made multiple spelling errors, which made me stumble throughout reading it. Anyway, what do I think of what Ben Davison has said here? Well, I personally didn't see any indications that Deontay Wilder was particularly nervous. Maybe he was. Maybe he put a lot of pressure on himself by painting himself as this hero for African Americans, and the fight was taking place during Black History Month and all this kind of stuff. Maybe that could have got to him, but I just didn't see any of that in his body language. And Deontay Wilder is a guy who tends to fight off adrenaline. That's how Deontay Wilder is. I think he's used to fighting off adrenaline. Now, the magnitude of the occasion, I don't think Wilder really felt like it was much different to the first fight, to be honest with you. If anything, I think Wilder was probably even more confident going into the rematch than he was going into the first fight, because he knocked out Luis Ortiz, he knocked out Dominic Breazeale, both in devastating fashion, whereas Tyson Fury didn't look particularly impressive in his previous fight against Otto Wallin. So I personally think that Wilder was confident that Fury wasn't the same guy, and all of these things which Wilder tells himself in his head, I think he actually believes a lot of them, you know? And that is the source of some strength for him. But in the long run, it can also be a massive weakness, because if he doesn't understand the mistakes that he made in the rematch, how is he ever going to correct them? And obviously, in the first fight, he didn't really take a beating of Tyson Fury. In the second fight, he did take a beating. And for people like Deontay Wilder, those kind of emotional, impulsive individuals, the guys who thrive on adrenaline and emotion, with someone like that, I think that a devastating stoppage defeat impacts them more than somebody who is more cerebral. And I could give you some examples of that. Like, let's say, Mike Tyson. You know, his loss to Evander Holyfield in the first fight impacted him psychologically on a very, very deep level. He just could not get over it in time for the rematch. And, well, he was taken apart a lot more quickly and really got himself disqualified to get out of the fight because he didn't want to take another beating. Okay, that's an example of somebody, one of those emotional, almost animalistic fighters who are not, I mean, I would say Mike Tyson's a lot more cerebral than Deontay Wilder, but still, Mike Tyson was in his feelings a lot, you know? Whereas when you've got a more cerebral kind of fighter who can rationalize things and he can, you know, be philosophical and put things into perspective, and he sees things in a very mechanistic way, fighters who think like that, who are more analytical and more calm, I think they're able, in many instances, to come back from defeats better, because they're analyzing what went wrong. They're thinking, okay, if I change this, if I do that, I can come back. Whereas a fighter who's more like a street fighter, who's not so analytical, he's just thinking, I took a beating. You know, he trades on this idea that he is more ferocious than his opponent, where if he went in there and gets savaged by his opponent, like Wilder did in the Fury rematch, then Fury just beat him at his own game. Do you understand? So it can diminish Wilder's confidence because of the fact that, hang on, I'm supposed to be the beast and I got beasted. You get what I'm saying? For Wilder, it's not so much of a technical thing. It's just, I'm more of a beast than you. I'm more of a king. I've got a more extreme mentality. That's what wins me the fight. Well, he didn't have a more extreme mentality than Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury took him to the cleaners. So how's Wilder going to deal with that? You know? So anyway, I'm getting off topic here. The point I was making is, I don't personally think that Ben Davison is right. I don't personally think that Wilder's legs were weak because of adrenaline and all that kind of business. I think Wilder's legs were weak because he started getting hit with clean shots. What he was doing wasn't working. And when you're losing a fight, you feel the punches more. When you're winning a fight and you get tagged with a shot, it doesn't have, as much. I mean, sometimes you can get knocked out or get dropped with a shot. Don't get it twisted. But when you're winning a fight and you're getting hit with hard jabs in the face, for example, those hard jabs, you don't feel them as much as if you're losing a fight. As if you're 5-6 rounds down, you really feel them hard jabs in the face. But if you're 5-6 rounds up, the jabs don't feel as bad to you. A lot of it's psychological. So the same way for injuries, if you are winning a fight and you've got a broken hand and you're winning handily, that broken hand don't hurt as much as if you're losing the fight. Yeah? Because when you're losing a fight and you got a broken hand, you're thinking about the broken hand all the time. You're focusing on the pain. You can't help it. It's hard to block the pain out. Yeah? And I think that's what it was with Deontay Wilder. It's because he was getting beaten up and because he was losing, he started feeling all the things that he normally wouldn't feel. He started focusing on all the things that he normally wouldn't focus on. I think Deontay Wilder was shocked by the way Tyson Fury came at him early in the fight. I think he was shocked by how the first round went, how the second round went. He was just in a state of shock. I think that's what it was. I don't think it was the occasion or anything like that. I just think the guy was completely shocked by what was going on. And he'd never been in a position before. He was taking a sustained beating, losing every round. And yeah, he just started feeling things then. And then he's telling himself after the fact, oh, my legs were going up. It was the ring walk costume. It was this, it was that, it was the other. Yeah, he's reaching for excuses. He's clutching at straws. I don't buy it. I just think that, Tyson Fury shot. You could see from Deontay Wilder's face the way Tyson Fury flew out the corner at the opening bell and was straight on him. You could see Wilder was surprised by what Tyson Fury was doing. He was shell-shocked. He never got over it during the fight, and I still don't think he's over it now. I guess we'll see in the rubber match if and when it happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.